It's about time to wipe the dust out of that lens, and also the English lens. Hello and welcome back to the next batch. It's been a while since I made a English video, so finally here it is. Today we're going to brew a beer, a pale ale, and for the first time ever I'm using fruits in the beer. Also it's the first time I was brewing a half batch on the Brewtools B80. Half batch meaning 25 liter batch. And in the video I will do a mistake with this mesh manifold. So let's first see the brewing, and afterwards I will taste the beer. So enjoy the brew day. Let's turn the time back a few months. So what's the best thing you can do on a Sunday morning? Well, of course, it's to brew some beer. And here today I have this beer kit from Amundsen Brewery in Oslo. It's the beer kit that's called Lorita. I think it's maybe a Spanish name or something. This is a pale ale, and for the first time today I'm going to brew a beer with fruits. And the fruits are in the form of this package of puree. It's the passion fruit puree. And in the bag we also have some hops and the yeast, 2 sachets of US 05. And in the bag there's also the malt bill and some flaked products and the instructions. So this is the contents of the beer kit. And as I said, it's the first time I'll ever brew with fruits in the beer. And this is a puree de fruit, maybe it's French or something. Passion fruit. So this will give a lot of taste to the finished beer. But there's also a big bag of dry hops. Plus the Whirlpool hops and the bitter hops. The fruit puree and the dry hops goes into day 7, so we're not going to use them today, so I'll keep them cool in my fridge. But the rest of the stuff we're going to use today. And also this is the first time I'll brew half a batch on my Brewtools B80. Half a batch meaning 1 beer kit size, which is about 25 liters. So this is, I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but it's something new. There's something different because of the water levels will be different than when I brew a full batch of about 60 liters on the B80. Our boil volume today will be 29 liters and the target is 25 liters to go on the MiniUni at the end of the brew day. And to hit those numbers and understand how much water I will mash with, and just to keep track of the recipe and the batch, I have entered the recipe in Brewfolder because the recipe is here on this sheet. So Brewfolder tells me to add 22 liters of mash water into my Brewtools, so let's start brewing. Yeah, I have already made a change to the water amount. I found out that 22 liters is too low of a level because of the heating elements. They reach about the level of 20 liters. So that dip tube you can adjust to ensure that the water level doesn't go beneath the heating elements to make sure they don't get burnt. It sucked air when at 22 liters, so I've added 3 more liters and I'll mash at 25 liters, and then I'll just adjust the sparge water amount, so I'll still reach that 29 liters of pre-boil. So I've added the grains to my monster mill and I'm crushing them at 1.2 millimeters. Yeah, the flaked products that came in a separate bag are not supposed to be crushed. hence the separate bag, I guess. They just go into the malt pipe, into the Brewtools. And in with the flaked oats. Yeah, there's not much grain going into the Brewtools today. There's a lot of unused space both in this bucket and in the Brewtools. So it seems a bit odd to brew that this small batch on it, but it will be 1 keg of beer. Okay, it was super quick to warm up the water to about 72 degrees. I'm going to mash at 68 degrees on the first step, so I'll just lower the temp to 68, okay, and the Brewtools will keep that temperature for me. So I added the salts, just threw them in to the mash water and in with the malts. Yeah, and here we can see there's the thing I see the best is all the lack of all the unused space. Don't think we'll need a overflow today. Yeah, there's barely some malts in the bottom of the Brewtools, but let's stir them in. Yeah, this looks like a loose mash. So, and then I'll put on the mash thermometer so I can see the actual temperature down here. And it says, yeah, it takes a while to level out the temperature from room temp. But yeah, it says on the pump that it's 67.7 degrees, so that's very close to our 68 degrees. So I'll just leave this here for first 20 minutes for the malt to rest, and then I'll start circulating after 20 minutes. And the total mash time will be yeah, I think maybe a little bit more than 1 hour. Okay, then we have been mashing for about 20 minutes, and way down in my kettle I can see some grains. So I have been running without circulation for the first 20 minutes to get the malt bill to rest. And now I will put on the circulation manifold, which will be high up in the air, so this cannot, yeah, I guess if you're a low-dough brewer, this is nothing for you. And let's take a break from the video. In the video I didn't realize, I just forgot that this is adjustable. So instead of having that great fall from the sports manifold down to the mash grain level, you can just adjust this to the yeah, the height that you want. I have no idea why I didn't think of that in the video. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so I'll adjust the valve on the side here a bit so we can get some flow through the circulation manifold. Okay, so now there's some circulation, and deep tube intake is still underwater, but I just heard it made some sucking noise, so it's barely under. Okay, so let's mash on for about 45 minutes. Yeah, and then the mashing is completed, It was 10 minutes of 78 degrees, and yeah, the wort is nice and clear. It's very light on color. So let's stop the mashing and start the sparge. Off with the pump. And let's raise the malt pipe. Okay, to sparge today I have my grandfather sparge water heater, and I'll just batch sparge. I don't have the right equipment to connect this to the Brewtools, so I'll just use the old bucket, and I'll sparge until I reach that pre-boil volume of 29 liters. Okay, sparging to 29 liters means 27 liters, about 27 on the markings on the back, because my previous experiences is that it's about 2 liters inside the hoses and the pump and yeah, the things underneath the kettle. So I have to deduct that 2 liters from the 29, and I'll sparge till about 27. Okay, it's time to remove the malt pipe. I have this murer balje here. Yeah, that's exactly 27 liters into the Brewtools now. Okay, then we have a good boil. It was super fast to get up the boil today. I'll turn down the heating elements to 66% was what it landed on. So yeah, our boil time of 60 minutes has just started. That means it's time to add our first hop addition. This is, let's see what it is in the instructions here. It's 32 grams of Magnum hops. Magnum for bittering, so I'll just turn off the pump. No need to use that now. And yeah, the hops are in. The next step now is the Whirlpool hop stand. Boil for 60 minutes and then cool it down to 75 degrees. But first I'll take a pre-boil gravity reading, which one of my viewers asked me, don't you do your measurements? Yes, of course I do, but I don't always show them on film. So let me take my easy lens and let's pick up some boiling wort and cool it down and then run it through the easy lens. We're almost finished boiling now, and since the level of wort is so low, it's almost as low as the heating elements. I'm a bit scared, so I'm watching them closely, that we don't get the heating elements up in the air, because then it will just get burnt. So I have sanitized the transfer hose, and now I'm sanitizing the chiller, and those two takes up a few liters of wort. so the level went even lower than before. And since we have that bit high pre-boil gravity, I have also added half a liter of water, both to water down the wort and to make the wort level a bit higher. Yeah, and then we're almost end of boil. There we are. Okay, so now I'll chill down the wort to 75 degrees. Turn off the heating element first. Okay. Temperature is dropping. Let's see the return temp, 40 degrees. Yeah, but now I'm interested in the tank temp, which should go down to 75. I stopped it at 76 because I know sometimes I can overshoot. And then it's time for bag number 2, which is the hop stand hops. And I have a Whirlpool going on. I think I can almost see the heating elements, but now we are finished heating. The rest of the day, brew day, is cooling things down. I'll just turn off the pump before I throw in the pellets. So that the pellets doesn't get sucked in through the pump. Then it may be a hard job for the pump, so let them swell a bit first. Pellets are dissolved by the wort, so now I'll turn back on the pump and there will be a Whirlpool for the 10-minute hop stand. The recipe says 10 minutes of hop stand. For me it sounds a bit short, but I'll just do what the recipe says. And while the hop stand goes on, I'll sanitize the MiniUni. Okay, I have my Star Sand solution in the MiniUni and I'm just shaking it around, keeping my finger on the port that the gauge goes on. Yeah, you can see it squirts. Yeah, a bit of shake and it's sanitized. And then the 10 or maybe 12 minutes of Whirlpool hop stand is over. So now I'll cool down the wort to pitching temp at about 19-20 degrees. Okay, let's send the wort through the transfer hose instead of back into the kettle, like that. Yeah, now it comes out here through the chiller. I have to wait to the temp to stabilize at about 19-20 degrees. Now it's 13. Yeah, it's rising now. Okay, off with it. And this whole thing is now sanitized, so I can just put it in here. Like that. And I'll start the pump again. And the wort is going over to the MiniUni. Yeah, we're transferring, and it didn't take very long before the heating elements stuck up in the air. On the limits of how small a batch you can brew on the B80. In goes a tilt to monitor the fermentation. That looks like it's what we got from out of the kettle. You can see the turbinator did its job and kept most of the hops inside of it. I've tilted the Brewtools with my old spoon, so to make sure that the wort flows to the dip tube that sucks it out. Yeah, but I got one more trick up my sleeve, and that's to push out the rest of the wort that's in the chiller and the hoses, at least most of it, pushing it out of the Brewtools using CO2. So I connect it here, and I add some CO2 pressure. Yeah, there we are. I guess we get a couple of liters extra that way. Let's bring some light and we can see how full the MiniUni is. You can see the tilt floating, and I guess it's about 2/3 full. That means we got about, yeah, I think we got 20 something liters out. And we can see on the tilt, it says it's 20 degrees and 1045 original gravity. It's a bit higher than expected. And then one of the last things on this brew day is pitching the yeast. There's 2 sachets of US-05. I just sprinkle it on top. Like that. And then it's on with the lid and the gasket. It's been bathing in star sand. So on you go, my friend, like that. And I'll reattach the pressure gauge. This one isn't supposed to be in star sand. This is the truck clamp that you can use to lift it. And then again, using CO2, I will add pressure to till I reach about 0.8 bars. I can just check here. Yeah, and then the wort is on the MiniUni and the Brewtools is empty. That means the end of the brew day. So let's wait for 1 week for the beer to ferment, and then we'll add our passion fruit and the dry hops. Here is the beer. I kegged the beer. It was 1 keg, and it's been sitting on the keg for a few months, and it's been ready to drink for a long time ago. Actually, I just never had the time to finish the video. So this is the looks of the video. It's a bit hazy, but quite clear. It's not like that hazy IPAs. To mention the beer kit, Amundsen Lorita. Since I bought the kit and brewed the kit, it's been discontinued, but I'll post the recipe for the beer in the YouTube video description. So, how is a pale ale brewed with fruits? Let's find out. First, a little sniff of the aroma. It's not a lot of aroma, it's not hitting me in the nose, but it's a pleasant smell. So cheers, eller skål da, and let's taste the beer. It's the first beer of the day. It's a Saturday today. I've been waiting for this moment since last weekend. Yeah, you can feel that fruit coming, blending nicely into the beer. It's a pleasant beer, well balanced. I didn't really know what to expect, but I guess I expected maybe a little more taste from the fruits, and yeah, maybe expected it to be more sweet. It's a bit, in Norwegian we can say besk. I think the English word is tart. I know that tart also means something else, but I think it has something to do with taste. It's that it's not bitter, but it's yeah, it's bitter-ish, but it's not the same as bitter. It's yeah, tart. My beer is a tart. But it's very drinkable. I enjoy the beer. I had a few since since it's been finished for a while, and it was fun both to do the fruit beer and to brew half batch in the B80. Since this batch, I have also brewed another batch, half batch on the B80, a Christmas beer, so I know that it's easy to scale the size of the batch on the B80. Before I had the Spider Brewmeister, if you wanted to do a half batch there, 25 liter batch, you had to have the short malt pipe, and it was, yeah, the machine just couldn't handle that small batch. But the B80 handles both small and big batches. It's not all beers that you want 4 kegs or 3 kegs. Sometimes 1 keg is enough. Yeah, so that was it for this time. Thank you for watching. Skål, and see you again later.